Hi folks, it's Nick Ferguson here from Enview, VP Strategy and BD. I've worked for the last 12 years with LiDAR in locations all around the world. I think there's an incredible opportunity for our community and industry as the use of LiDAR around the world continues to grow. We're probably not far off every consumer out there having a little LiDAR device of their own. This also creates great challenges as we build our businesses and scale to meet the new demand. To harness this opportunity requires rethinking old workflows and adopting new technology. This talk covers how Enview Explore can be fundamentally enabling to your future success. Ops Director Powell is responsible for LiDAR collection, production, delivery. He wants to deliver high quality, on-time data as he knows this information is mission critical to his customers. In this challenging role, he must determine priority, he must allocate resources, troubleshoot problems to get the job done. The challenges are that this processing is largely manual. It takes heroic levels of manual labour, adding months to the process. Additionally, data has to be offshored, which is cumbersome and time-consuming. Massive amounts of data are shipped back and forward, adding weeks or even months to the process. Additionally, some data security concerns from some of his clients prevent data leaving the country. Software is also licensed and installed on individual computers. This means that he must make an upfront investment in the software, which may or may not be fully leveraged. This causes pain and limits computing time to local machines, which constrains his speed and capacity for the throughput of data. Scaling the workforce is a problem. Powell's company has bid and won several projects at the same time, but must now attempt to double the size of the workforce in a matter of weeks. Additionally, there's obstacles and delays due to weather affecting data capture operations, out of warranty equipment and failure, staff shortages and reflights due to corrupt data. There's also a high degree of schedule uncertainty. Across a large processing team, he struggles to estimate error margins, and that keeps him in concern as to whether or not he's going to meet his clients' delivery times. So delivery dates are slipping. There's several angry customers building up. His staff are starting to experience burnout. This is the most recent time he's asked them to work overtime, but he's also asked them the same thing for the last 4 projects. So they're getting to their limits. Cash flow keeps Powell awake at night. These project delays are leading to invoice delays, and the bank balance is starting to look low. Powell's worst fear is that he might have to engage in a round of layoffs. He hates this cyclical activity of hiring and firing depending on what projects, what work the business happens to be winning each month. Enview is a software company based in San Francisco, venture capital backed. We've built a large parallelization engine. Essentially, this chops up LiDAR data into thousands of individual tiles. It pushes each tile up into the cloud within its own container. It has its own operating system and AI code. We then spin up thousands of CPUs and GPUs in parallel across thousands of different nodes. This provides automated analysis. So after the AI machine learning has done its thing, the user downloads the data back to their desktop. This is an extensible system. It's sensor agnostic. We're also building it out with APIs and plugins so that it will integrate with third-party software platforms. So let's have a look at Enview Explore itself. Firstly, I go into the dashboard here. What I'm going to do is add a new data set. So let's call this one Demo Geo Week, and let's find the file. Here it is. It's going to auto detect the SRID EPSG code. I'm going to upload the data set. Okay, so the LAS data is now in the system. I'm going to hit go on a new project and ask it to reclassify the existing point cloud and also build me a bunch of derivative products like DSM, DTM, Hillshade, etc. So now the project's created. We're going to come back to the software and take a look at the data set. So first up, the Hillshades. I can come in here, see the location, ask it to create me a package for download, and then actually download the package itself. Or I can switch here into 3D view. I can drag and drop a bunch of common file formats like KML, KMZ, Esri shape files, and so on. Here I've just taken a KMZ for my local neighborhood. Let's have a look at this, this location here. You can see it's Vancouver, West Coast. The system's also compatible with OG compliant web mapping services. I'm going to add in the government's web mapping services for weather. So let's pan out a little bit here and just have a look at the what the weather's doing right now across the US. So adding the LiDAR data that we've just run through the system, we can see it here. This is 1 square kilometre. It's taken about 30 minutes wall clock time to ingest the data, analyse it and display it in the web viewer here. We can see here it's done a really good job on the ground. Also the vegetation. So the vegetation this classifies as true vegetation. There's no artifacts like fences or power lines in the data. Now if we move across, we can have a look at the another data set. This is a corridor survey for a pipeline. Again, the same thing is true. The ground's very good, vegetation's great, and you can see all the buildings popping out here as well, which for this particular LiDAR company, they're supporting a class location analysis for the pipeline operator to determine if its pipeline is operating at a suitable pressure. Here we can see the buildings that have been picked out in that data set. So also in the platform, if you just click through to the different background mapping here. So there's a bunch of different base maps that we can layer in to see the road network, the hydrology, and so on. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is just switch over to take a look at this kind of support information that Enview has. So we release every 4 weeks. You can see here an update on the newest, latest and greatest Enview Explore. We've also got a comprehensive support tab as well that can get new users up to scratch very quickly. It's a simple system to use. I literally can run AI from my living room with a baby in one arm and a laptop in the other. Okay, so in addition to the features I've just shown you, the system's also capable of generating terrain. We can extract features, so for example the buildings, we can pull those out, export them into Esri shape files as an example. We can also compute terrain change detection, so looking at 2 co-registered data sets, computing the delta between the two, and producing red has fled, blue is new analysis. Building change detection, other object change detection such as vegetation, and also things like object-to-object clearance. So if you have if you've got a power line, assessing 3D clearances between the conductors and the surrounding vegetation. So what are the results for Powell? Well, firstly, he has recovered a whole bunch of time. With Enview, he's seeing about a 10 times speed improvement over outsourcing the data. This allows him to both recover lost time and also exceed his customer expectations. So he's really been able to do a U-turn here with his client management. There's also enhanced cash flow. The customers start paying their invoices as a result of the project no longer being late. He's also, and his company, are winning more opportunities. The onshoring of data is ticking the boxes for customers that have security concerns. And the enhanced speed is providing a competitive advantage over other LiDAR services companies. What this means for Powell is that he has an improved quality of life. He's no longer leaving sleep at night. He's got recognition from his board and gratitude across his workforce. So in terms of a case study with Powell, he had a couple of projects going at the same time, a 100,000 square kilometre nationwide base mapping project, alongside a 5,000 kilometre network-wide pipeline monitoring project. His in-house team could only resource about 25% of that work. The rest was being offshored. Within about 60 minutes of calling Enview, we set him up with an Enview Explore account. There's no software that needs downloading, installing. It's purely through the web browser. That allowed him to call on the support of hundreds of thousands of CPUs and GPUs. So in terms of speed, where he was using the web interface for a few initial trials, it was roughly 5 times faster than outsourcing. When he used a direct file transfer, in this case connection to an S3 bucket, it was 10 times faster. Due to the huge economies of speed that Enview produces, we're also very economical, and that allowed us to provide this additional capacity to Powell in a way that kept both of his projects both profitable and cash flow positive. In terms of accuracy on this work, without any localized training at this location, we hit 98.5% accuracy for vegetation, 93.5% accuracy for buildings, and 84% accuracy for power lines. Now, with training data, the accuracy goes even higher than that. For Powell also, the risk of negative client references went down, and his cash flow issues really improved. So he was very happy with the whole experience. Enview has deployed its software in a bunch of different industries in support of LiDAR companies servicing many different clients with different types of infrastructure, all the way from foundational base mapping projects for countries, provinces, states, through to targeted acquisition for corridor work for various infrastructure owners. When we think ahead and look at our roadmap, we've got some really exciting features coming down the road. That includes things like road and water classification will be released shortly. Also things like Geiger mode and single photon LiDAR enhancements. And we're coming up with some synthetic training data as well. So you could deploy Enview in Antarctica without any training data at all. So lots of exciting things, and encourage you to check in with us if there's anything that particularly takes your fancy. That's it from me. You can request a trial if you'd like to. It takes me about 2 minutes to set up a new user in the system, and you can see the power of the cloud and AI yourself. Once again, this is a very simple to use, easy platform, and I'm sure you'll have an enjoyable time using it to the benefit of your wider organisation. So that's it from me. Thank you very much.